Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week. Senior citizens in Region 10 are elated to have received government's one-off $25,000 pension grant, which was delivered to them by Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, on Monday. The one-off pension grant is one of government's initiatives to aid pensioners during the pandemic. Distribution centres in the region included Amelia's Ward, Kumaka, Watuko, Wisma, Bayrock and Mackenzie. The cash grant, along with the 2022 pension booklets, will be distributed until October 22nd. In addition to the one-off pension grant, Minister Prasad also delivered on her promise to provide spectacles for vulnerable residents of Kumaka. Minister Prasad also distributed some 200 food hampers to residents of Mobilisa, Chiney Road, Silver Hill and Bamia, all part of government's support to citizens during the pandemic. The Ministry of Amerindian Affairs has distributed 15 tractors to various villages in Region 8. The exercise was conducted by Minister Pauline Sukai during a recent visit to the region. The minister says the tractors will boost development and enhance operations in areas such as agriculture, transportation and forestry, among others.
So the tractor is not only meant to support agriculture, but when you get road building contracts too, it is useful for fetching road material. It is useful to rent the contractors. So it is useful for many things, for transportation, for expanding agriculture, for forestry, for hire, etc. It is a versatile heavy-duty machinery.
The villages that received the tractors include Bamboo Creek, Cheongmouth, Itabak, Kanapang, Kejo, Kurkubaru, Chusining and Yawang. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony on Monday accepted a donation of an oxygen-generating plant for the Infectious Diseases Hospital at Liliendal. The donation was made by the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh and Siwa Guyana during a virtual media conference. Minister Anthony, who noted that the purchasing of oxygen for the intensive care unit at the health institution was very costly, was more than pleased with the donation.
As you know, the COVID-19 hospital at Liliendal, we do have close to 200 beds, and we have been buying oxygen for that facility. Our ICU setup there, we have moved it from about 8 beds to now about 52 beds, and therefore providing constantly the amount of oxygen is a very expensive exercise. Once that is up and running, it would substantially decrease the costs that we'll have at the COVID hospital to provide oxygen.
The Ghana Livestock Development Authority on Wednesday relaunched its artificial insemination program for small ruminant animals. The resuscitation of the program will allow hundreds of livestock farmers nationwide to increase their production, thus enabling them to better provide for their families. During the launching ceremony at the GLDA head office, Monrepo, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa said the initiative is being expanded at a time when Ghana is on demand by international investors.
We are moving, and we are moving rapidly in advancing the agenda of food security in CARICOM and different parts of the world. Last week I was able to do a presentation from an investor all the way from Nigeria who has interest in coming to Guyana to invest. That shows that Guyana agriculture agenda is moving apace.
Following the launching ceremony, Minister Mustafa also joined in the celebration at the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute in Nari, where the first edition of Ghana's Fruits and Vegetable booklet was launched. The objective of the booklet is to capture the pre-harvest and post-harvest practices, safe handling and processing of fruits and vegetables.
So we made a commitment in April. We knew for a fact that a number of farmers, stakeholders, persons who are involved in agriculture were looking forward for the announcement we have made at that time to bring out this booklet. And from April to now, I think it's a remarkable achievement in bringing out this booklet so that we can disseminate the informations.
Residents on the east coast of Demerara can now enjoy better accessibility as government invested $377.4 million to develop roads in Enmore, Buxton, Annandale and Monrepo. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell and team visited the various communities on Wednesday to get a first-hand look at the roadworks. Minister Edgell said the roads are being done with monies remaining from the 4-lane East Coast Road, which was executed by China Railway First Group Company Limited and the government's intervention.
You would have seen those roads that are being connected are main access roads to villages, roads that carry you to community centers, schools, health center, high-use facilities and high-use thoroughfares we have paid attention to. And that is part of our development program.
The construction of the roads form part of the government's manifesto promise of creating a greater accessibility for Guyanese. Minister Edgell said the aim is to replicate the same kind of accessibility nationwide.
We would like to duplicate that or replicate that in every village, in every way. So the assurances that I want to give the people of Guyana, as funding becomes available, development will move faster. We can get more done as we get more money. So we have the political will, we have the engineering experience, we have the capacity, and we are working on phasing that based upon the adequacy of funding.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, gov't Indar, today rebuffed the contractor working on the Chedijagan International Airport, which had requested an extension of its deadline for it to complete additional works on the port. The company, China Harbor Engineering Company, has asked for a deadline extension to April 2022, but Minister Indar insists that the work, which is currently at the progress level of 20%, should be completed this year. The minister visited the port to get an update on the progress of works after he received complaints about it and other related developments.
We're not discussing any extension. On the 15th of November of this year, the engineers will go back and they will do a certificate of completion, which is to determine progress works. At that point, we will know exactly what percentage completion, what are the issues, and then we will have that discussion, but not now. I want to make sure that just cause is shown, and try your best as a company. You have 120 workers here to ensure that you push the work.
The minister expressed particular concern about the pace of the project given multiple timeline breaches. He said that a lot of work went into negotiating solutions with the contractor.
When we first came into government, we had a lot of reservation, but constant discussion with the contractor, meetings, inspections, a lot of work and energy went into it to get it moving along. It's not going as you would like it to go, the speed that you would like it to go, but it is going. It is progressing.
Guyanese are set to benefit from a beautified Vicendron Road before the end of the year, as the geometric improvement project is over 40% completed. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell was on site overlooking the ongoing works on Wednesday. The $42.6 million project will improve access for pedestrians and will run from the roundabout to Lamaha Street.
We are doing some improvement, and the intent, as you can see going on right now, phase one, is that we're building from all the way up the roundabout right down to Bar Street. Currently, as it obtains, from Bar Street all the way to Lamaha Street, there's a pavement on one side that is an old pavement that has been there many, many years. We probably continue all the way down to Lamaha Street, but in this first phase, it's up to Bar Street.
Minister Edgell says the project will enable recreational activities for all age groups since it showcases the lighter side of the developmental agenda the government is undertaking.
What we will actually see happening is that you will have a full concrete walkway, eventually with lights, at sections down, seats for sitting, from the edge of the road to the walkway. We will be doing an earthen shoulder for the encouragement of growing of grass. And eventually what you will have is from that end of the street to that end of the street is one big open space that at any one time you could host a major activity.
Significant infrastructural works are also underway on the river dam at Charity Region 2. This project, valued at $89 million, was awarded to Aden Dam Holdings and is expected to be completed within 6 months. Regional Vice Chairman Hummus Odit, in an invited comment, told DPI the road network is one of the region's most important thoroughfares to offload goods, hence the urgency to address this issue. About 450 meters will be done in reinforced concrete, while 350 meters will be in asphalt. Since 2015, the Charity River Dam has been sinking despite all efforts to build and reinforce it. During high tides, the Pomeroon River would usually overtop the dam, contributing to flooding in the area, which would threaten residents' livelihood. Meanwhile, in addition to the Charity River Dam, construction on the Queenstown Nursery School is now in its final stages. The $31.7 million project is being built next to the Queenstown Primary School. There is urgent need for medics in the workforce, especially in hinterland communities. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony made this statement on Thursday during the orientation of 36 students who will undergo the 2021-2025 medics program.
We really need you urgently in the workforce and urgently in the community. When we designed this program, it was with the intention that we can get to every single community in our country. But to do that, we have to train more people and get them closer to where they need to serve.
The health minister told the group that his ministry will ensure that primary health care is improved across the country. Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony says there is no revaccination policy in Ghana at this time for persons who took the Sputnik V vaccine. He made the statement during Friday's COVID-19 update. The World Health Organization, in a recent report, said it was near to resolving issues in Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine, however, has not given a date for a potential emergency use listing.
At this point in time, the government does not have a revaccination policy. We're not encouraging it at this point in time because right now I think a lot of people are concerned about travel to the United States. But the United States haven't set a date by when they would be accepting vaccines, or they haven't said anything as yet.
Dr. Anthony noted that for those countries that are requiring vaccines right now, they have systems in place for travel.
Nevertheless, countries that are requiring vaccines right now, doesn't matter which vaccine you get, you have to let them know up front, and they would allow you to come into the country. However, you would have to be in quarantine for some period of time. And once that time elapses, it's okay, you can then start moving around. And that quarantine usually happens at home. So wherever you're going, you quarantine at home, and that's quite permissible.
Region 3's top performers for the National Grade 6 Assessment NGSA were commended on Friday for their exceptional performance at this year's exams. The 22 top performers all secured spots at the nation's top school, Queen's College. Minister of Education Priya Manikchan, who attended the appreciation ceremony, highlighted this year's challenges and the significant role of teachers and partners in guiding and supporting the children for the exams.
We were able to not only write an exam, but make sure you do very well at the exams. And that is not only government, it is government. So let's face that, because the regional chairman spoke about it. It took the will and the desire and the investments to make it happen. but it was also your teachers and your parents. They supported you by sitting down with you, by making sure you got the books, by making sure they kept your company, by making sure they were firm when you didn't feel like doing your work. That is the kind of good parenting we saw throughout this period.
In Region 3, 1,836 pupils wrote the NGSA exams. Over 100 students out of this figure secured spots at Queen's College, Bishop's High School, St. Rose's High, and St. Stanislaus High School. The GWT Incorporated, GWI, is suing contractor LGS Barnes General Building Construction and Civil Engineering for failure to replace aged transmission lines in the Bel Air Park area. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell on Friday revealed that the company got a $123 million contract in 2017 for 4 months to complete the works. However, they failed to abide by the contract's duration.
GWI has therefore instituted legal proceedings to recover the overpayment of the $7 million and for the contractor to also hand over the additional materials that were procured. That is now engaging the court.
Coming into office last year, the PPPC government made the decision not to wait to recover the monies from the company. Instead, a $91 million contract was signed for the transmission lines to be replaced, and the water company took part in starting the process of repairing the street.
Another contract had to be awarded, and that was done to the sum of $28,628,000 for the road works to bring it up to a level that is called crusher run.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Works completed the road at a cost of $19.5 million. 37 families of Balyock Housing Scheme Region 5 are now landowners. This life-changing moment took place on Friday during a simple ceremony following a commitment made by a minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, earlier this month. The minister told allottees her ministry has been working assiduously to address the housing demands, especially in Region 5.
We understand how much this means to ordinary Guyanese to be able to own a piece of land and to be able to own their own home. I want to urge you to take up your lots as quickly as possible, to construct your home as early as possible, and to be able to create that security for yourself and for your family. We want you to be able to utilize it and to have the full benefits of having your own lot, of having your own home.
The housing scheme was developed to relocate informal settlers from the Sea Defence Reserve nearby. However, this process was later shelved, which led the government's decision to restart this program at the cost of $20 million to reduce the backlog of land application in the region. Minister Rodriguez also announced government's plan for developing another section of vacant land within Balyock to create 300 more house lots.
This region has over 3,500 outstanding applications, and so we have to work assiduously to ensure that we make house lots available.
The minister also commissioned a $9.7 million water system to provide residents of Big Baibu with access to water for the first time. That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov.gy, and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.